I'll just explain real quick. I was trying to demonstrate a few things you can do with this. You guys probably picked up on the fact that obviously it rotates, plus your clamp. There's two hoses that come off of the loader that go up into a solenoid block, and then that solenoid block has 4 hoses that come out of that. So to be able to do 2 functions with only 2 hoses, we needed to provide 12 volts up here. So when we energize that solenoid, it diverts the flow over from the default is open and close. When we give 12 volts to the solenoid, it diverts the flow over to the rotation. So basically on this machine, it's just a switch. A lot of times it's in the controls of the machine. You could wire an independent switch. Not really that hard. Worst case scenario, run an independent switch and run a wire to it if you had to. But what we were doing over there is we were skidding the log and feeding to the chipper, and you can see how we could pivot and angle, and then this head pivots as we do that. So as we're trying to feed stuff, it works with us versus trying to work against us for one. And the other thing I think you probably noticed is I grabbed that top of that tree and we put the log up underneath this plate, and when we pick back on that pinches against the plate, and we actually can carry that tree, log, whatever that may be, suspend it off the ground, keep it up out of the dirt, and move it around that way. I've got tree guys that will actually grab logs that way and load them in the back end of trailers, things like that. The other benefit after that, I kind of demonstrated if it was heavy and the machine wasn't big enough to actually lift that log, we can grab it by the butt end, just pick up a little bit of weight, we can actually skid it. So wouldn't have to have it pinned against here, but you can still use it as a skidder that way. So this head free floats in all directions, so it kind of finds its own center. And the other thing you probably notice is when I was trying to operate it, you kind of need to look underneath the attachment. So I would pick up the loader arms and tilt forward, and that way I could see what I was doing underneath. On this loader, the seat height's a little bit higher, so that makes it a little bit difficult. But when you're in a skid steer, you're looking already down a little bit lower. So, but yeah, so this is the 51-inch opening. Grapple, so the 1300, and I kind of wanted to put it near this 1800 to show basically the opening difference between the two of these units. So 51 inches on this one, 70 inches on this, and I just have a log in the bottom of this one to kind of give a demonstration of how big it'll open up. So
you see the difference in the curve like you brought up earlier too, Brian.
Right, yeah, when this one's open all the way, these tines are somewhat vertical, where on this one when it's open all the way, it's kind of more cupped in a little bit. So
design and the weight differences.
Oh, and that's a great point. I should have mentioned that. So the rotator on these back is the same. The rotator, the plate is the same. What's different is this grapple. And from the 1300 to the 1800, somebody help me, 240 pounds?
Yeah, you're right.
240 pounds more weight on the on the 1800 over the 1300, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you put it on a pivot that ends up being 3 to 4 foot depending on where your tilt's at, that compounds. It makes a huge impact. So I like to absolutely put this on our higher category machines with quite a bit of lift on them. So but yeah, that's kind of the quick. We can't demonstrate it on this machine, but there's also 3-point hookups on this. So there's a top pin here for your 3-point, and then there's pins on both category 1, category 2. So I have a couple of customers that have tractors. They'll put it on the back and go back into where they're at, grab the logs, pick them up, skid them out to a landing, process the limbs, whatever they want to do from there, cut them into log length, then put it on the front of the loader and load trailers and load out their logs. So a lot of versatility with this, and it also gives you the value, especially if it's a sawmill log, to be able to get that log up off the ground and keep all the dirt out of it and save your sawmill blades. So any questions on that?
Yeah, when you're not rotating, do those hydraulics run like a bypass? So
they will.
Rotate?
They will. So this will bypass on its own a little bit. Okay. It's like having a brake on, but like when I was skidding that tree around, it was rotating on its own.
So it rotates on its own, but at the same time, if you're fully suspended, it's not like going all over the place. It has a little resistance.
It does. Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Yep. And then something that's neat on the Uniforest, it's kind of hard to show. I don't have the pin for it, but there's a tab here. You can run a pin through this. If you're going to transport and go back in a ways and you want to cover some ground, it will lock out the fore aft pivot, and the only thing you'll have is left and right.
Yeah, you can see that arm if you swing it like this, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right
so
there. See
if
it?
you can see right here, that pinhole, you would pin right straight through that. And that's huge. I don't know of another grapple out there that I've ever seen on the market that has that. And I'll watch these guys going out in the woods, and man, that head is just slapping all over the place and beating against the plate, and it takes a toll on hoses. So,
Oh yeah, load stability and everything. with
yep.
off-caters.
And another unique thing that I once again haven't seen on anything else is that this has a basically like a clutch brake of sorts, and it'll slow down the left-right pivot on it, so it's not free dangling also. So very well thought out. I've run quite a few different grapples, and I'm a huge fan of this particular one for sure, for many reasons. So.